might as well get ourselves going. I mean, everybody is virtual. Is there something I need to say at the beginning of the meeting here, since we're all virtual, or?
Usually you read, usually you read just pursuant to Governor Baker's order that you're all participating remotely. We're getting this in just under the wire because this expires July 15th, and we apparently don't have a full resolution yet to how we're going to do this.
So that's ditto. That's what I just said. So, pursuant to that, we're having a virtual meeting. Everybody is remote, and we'll have to take votes by roll call and so forth. But the main thing on our agenda tonight is a reserve fund transfer. Nick sent out the details earlier. The reserve fund transfer to help fund the legal budget.
Correct. And I can explain that for anybody who would like some background and some context on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the legal budget is primarily made up of the two largest items within the budget are consulting and legal fees, which is when we use for our special counsel or outside counsel. And that can be our environmental counsel, our labor counsel, bond counsel. And then we have our town council contracted services, which is general counsel, which is Mark Sorrell. So this year we've had some interesting items come up outside of what we normally expected, and that included an IRS audit. So we needed to engage bond counsel, and that was related to the bonds that were issued for the town garage, the DPW building. We also did not anticipate that we would have a lawsuit regarding the Hinckley South property. And that has come to a conclusion and the project is moving forward, but we did incur legal expenses defending the Board of Selectmen on that and the zoning board. As you know, we also have an ongoing internal affairs investigation, as well as we are now bringing labor counsel to our bargaining sessions. In the past, we normally only engage labor counsel in collective bargaining when we got to the end of the contract, end of the negotiating period. They would review the final contract for us, and then we would send it on for approval from the Board of Selectmen. However, the police union has engaged counsel at their collective bargaining sessions, so we must be represented by our counsel as well. So that is an increased expense that we did not anticipate. So the total for those outside expenses, we're looking for a transfer tonight of $38,500.
Anybody have any questions on that transfer?
Is the transfer amount an estimate for a period, or is it an amount that you anticipate will cover? I mean, what period is covered by the 38.5?
This will bring us through to June 30th.
To the past June 30th.
Correct.
Okay.
So then,
is this covered in the 100? The reserve, is this a transfer from the reserve fund? That's out of the 150. Okay.
It is. And
so, what does this leave us in that fund?
After today, if you do approve this request tonight, you'll have $57,939.72 left, and that will close to free cash.
And you think this will be the last one, or will there be more for the?
No, I believe this is it, and you actually have to act by July 15th on this. So this is definitely the last one.
We might not be able to have another meeting to be able to do
it. Right. I'm already aware I'm cutting into your summer hiatus, so I apologize.
What was the original legal budget?
We had approved fiscal year 22 for $116,150.
And to be honest with you, sorry.
I'm sorry, Christine. So what was the total expended versus that budget, and compare it to last year? And then the second question I have is, do we anticipate the budget is sufficient for this coming year?
Yeah, that was my question too.
So let me answer that and try to answer each of those questions individually. So approved budget was $116,150 for fiscal year 22. As of June 30th, including the reserve fund transfers, we'll have a final actual expenditure of $162,542.57. Last year, our total budget expended was $111,029.82 out of the fiscal year 21 legal budget.
Okay.
Now, your next question is, do we anticipate that that is enough? Yes, we actually increased the legal budget. So the fiscal year 23 request that was approved at town meeting is 123,533. As of today, I anticipate that will be enough. I'm not anticipating another IRS audit, which was close to $17,000. I'm not anticipating any lawsuits at this time. And our fire collective bargaining has concluded, and we anticipate concluding the police rather soon. I know I've been saying that since about March of this year. So, but that is my intention to wrap that up as soon as possible. So I don't anticipate any of those. But again, if you asked me this last year, I would have told you I didn't anticipate any of those things. I'm asking for the reserve fund transfer either.
Right. Understood.
Yeah.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
personally, I'm very surprised that it's not more. You're not asking for more, given all those things you rattled off. There's a lot happening.
I agree.
It's been a busy year.
Who is that?
Jill,
Jill. Oh, hi.
yes, hi, hello. I don't know if we all said hi at the same time. I don't know if you guys heard me.
So just a one last question, again, looking at what, going forward. So the 111, is that kind of like a base that you would use, and then because you had more activity is why we increased it to the 127? And
So
then
we went from 116,150 to 123,533. And
Yeah.
we knew that the engagement of our new labor council, we could anticipate a $6,000 increase to our base cost on that.
and the legal costs for the hospital, is that being covered by the Trinity 500,000?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other questions or comments on the transfer?
Nope.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Nope,
I move that we approve the recommended transfer from the reserve fund of $35,000.
Second.
Second.
All right, what was the exact amount? Was it 35 or
38, I think.
38,500.
100.
38,500? Okay.
Was there a second?
Second.
Second, yeah.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I need to do a roll call, so I'm gonna go around.
Okay.
Steve,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jillian,
yes,
Mather,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So that's unanimous
Thank you.
in support. And the only other thing we had on our agenda, and I just wanted to, since we were meeting, I just wanted to have, our continued discussion about, a future school building committee. And just, to continue that conversation, not looking for any actions tonight. Just wanted to sort of relay a few thoughts that have come up and some conversations that have occurred. And just so that we're all on the same page when the time does come. The process hasn't formally started yet, as the school committee, by the new bylaw, will have to request the select board to, form that committee. And then, the bylaw itself has, is pretty detailed on how that goes about. The warrant committee's member, if you will, is one of the moderators. So, I mean, in the end, Scott would appoint, and recommend that appointment, I guess, to the select board. I'm not exactly the procedure, but because of the bylaw being fairly detailed on the process of voting on decisions of that school building committee, I think whoever, wants to be on that committee, and whoever we choose should go into it with their eyes open, that there's probably not that much flexibility to have like a tag team, like two folks sharing the duties per se, in that whoever's appointed as the warrant committee's member would be the sole person that would be able to vote at the school committee, at the school building committee meetings. It's not like you could have somebody represent you, and go and vote on your stead. You would have to be there to vote, and some of the limitations in the bylaw, I think, will require pretty robust attendance by all the school building committee members to, so that they can make decisions in a timely way. So I know we talked about how, we would envision this, whoever's going, that would, report back to the Warrant Committee and keep us abreast of what's going on. And that certainly could happen, but just the formalities of the bylaw may limit the ability to have sort of a team effort on that front. So I just wanted to kind of share that thought. And
Jeremy, is that on a week-to-week basis or a month-to-month basis, or
it probably depends on what's before that committee. There's probably going to be times when that committee is very busy and they're meeting weekly or monthly.
Yep.
And making a lot of decisions. And then there could be times when there's not much activity for months. So it really is dependent on, what's before the committee at that time. But the bylaw does require that, that kind of that super majority of votes. And because it's a formal appointment to that committee, whoever is that formal appointee is that one person on the warrant committee that will be able to vote at that school building committee. And the other thing is
for the duration of the committee,
for the duration of the appointment to that committee.
Okay.
Somebody could, go in and envision to be there for the whole time, but if it went on for 5 years, hopefully not, but if it went on for some period of time and somebody needed to resign, that's certainly within their right to resign and somebody else be reappointed. But during the time of appointment, the person is pretty much going to be the sole person. If
And
there's
with
nothing going on for a vote.
one more
somebody
question.
could go in.
One more question. Would the resignation from the school building committee be the resignation from the warrant committee?
No, just the warrant
Okay.
committee rep. And
Okay.
I presume, then Scott and the select board would appoint somebody else from the warrant committee to take over. And likely we want to make some rules on that since it's a voting member. The warrant committee's rep is a voting member on the school building committee. We would probably want to make a rule here in the warrant committee that when it does come before the warrant committee, kind of sort of the due diligence process, that the person assigned to that building committee is sort of not voting during warrant committee discussions and overall vote on it, just so that there's no conflict. So just a few thoughts there. It's not imminent. It sounds like the school committee is likely sometime later in August going to request the select board to start forming the committee. So it's going to be something more on our fall agenda, but just thought I'd take the opportunity to have a chat. So any thoughts, any ideas, any comments? I think you could share the load to some degree, but when there's a vote, whoever's formally appointed would need to be there at the school building committee. So
my thoughts, I think what you suggested makes sense. Given the way that bylaw was written. The only thing that is a little, I guess, a little different is, I don't know, is it required that the warrant committee member vote on that committee?
I believe so.
Yeah.
As a voting member, and
Well, they could have.
super majority requirement. I think it's expected that
It's
that
expected.
guarantee
It's expected. The only thing I was thinking of is like, could they abstain from all the votes and that way still be part of the deliberations? But that's probably defeats the purpose of having the warrant committee member on the committee. So
yeah.
Yeah. This is the point that Gus brought up at the town meeting.
Right.
The problem with the bylaw. Yeah.
I mean, I think we can we can work with it. We just have to understand going in, what the
Yeah.
expectations are and what the responsibilities are, and making sure there's no conflicts. Christine, was there anything else that we should add to that conversation, or I know we
I think you covered everything. I don't anticipate that this is moving forward. I know the selectmen are meeting. We're meeting tomorrow night. We're meeting August 2nd, August 30th. So I don't anticipate that this will come before them, before the August 2nd meeting, and most likely not till after the school committee resumes their meetings.
Hmm.
So, with that, let me know if you're interested. I've gotten on a couple. I won't, as the committee chair of the Warrant Committee, I think it would be too much for me to put my hat in the ring, so I won't. And I think, that any committee chair probably wouldn't want to do that on any committee. So if you're interested, let me know, and we can talk further about it. If there's multiple folks interested, we can have a chat.
So, Jeremy,
about
just
who we would appoint.
Jeremy, just as a quick comment, the points you make, I think, are really important, and I do think making the Warrant Committee representative a voting member is a complexity that has to be dealt with. In my serving on that committee it was a non-voting position, it was a significant amount of time. When you get to the closing, basically, as you know, as we know from the, am I still gone? Am I gone?
Oh, you're there, Bob.
Okay, I don't know, my screen did something here, okay. So anyway, you still hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you, Bob.
Yeah, sorry, just to finish it, it is a significant amount of time. And it's likely that the period of time for the school building committee is probably going to be 3 to 5 years. So I only say to you and for the rest of the Warrant Committee to keep that in mind, because I think if you're a member of the Warrant Committee and we already spent a lot of time. So for somebody to sit back and commit to the school building committee as well as the Warrant Committee for 3 to 5 years, there needs to be some flexibility, I think, in that. That's all.
Yeah, and I think, if it becomes too much for somebody, they can step down and then get somebody can formally fill their place. So.
Well, I would just anticipate that, as you build that in, that you do think about having some, not necessarily a tag team, but understand that it would be hard for one person to commit for 5 years, but that's just my observation.
Yeah, it would be helpful to have a couple of folks interested, but then, there would need to be one lead that.
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
But if there was an assistant or a helper or somebody that filled in on meetings, that there wasn't a vote, and that would be great. And then they'd be available to step in formally if the lead couldn't take it anymore. So, yeah. So
Okay.
that was all. Nothing, no formal action or anything required tonight. Just wanted to continue that conversation. So, other than that,
Jeremy?
I think we're all good. Yeah, Steve?
Jerry, just one quick thing. It occurred to me today, not to bring this up at the last minute, but it's been a while since I think we approved some minutes.
It has.
I just didn't want that to.
That is on me. That is all on. So
There's one of the meetings is mine as well, Mather. It's not just you. So it's the two of us. You're not alone.
That I was going to write an email today. I just remembered that I had to approve the meeting minutes from the presentation from the Medfield State Hospital presentation.
Mhm.
So I will get that to you as soon as we can.
Didn't want to send any records. I will let the selectmen have those records.
I know, right? Exactly. Don't need that attention. Great. Anything else that anybody wants to mention or bring up? We don't have another meeting scheduled, so unless there's a sort of a rush reserve fund transfer needed, we'll probably not meet until could be September or later. So with that, hope everybody has a great summer.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Great.
You are dependable, Bob. You are dependable.
Second.
Great. I got to do a roll call. Steve,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jillian.
Yeah.
Mather,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So we are.
Nice summer.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you,
summer,
everyone.
guys.
Here.
Right.
Thank you. Bye.